We've been studying straight lines, and today we're going to have a look at how we can find the equation of a straight line. And the thing that we're going to use in all of this is the idea that we know the basic equation of a straight line is y is equal to mx plus c, where whatever this number is here, that's the gradient or slope of the line, and whatever this number is, that's the y-intercept. It's the y value of where you cross the y-axis, where the graph crosses the y-axis. And we're going to use this in all of the examples we do. Let me show you how. Okay, here we've got a straight line, and we want to figure out its equation. Well, the very first thing we can do is we can write down, well, we know the equation is going to be something of the form y is equal to mx plus c, and we've just got to figure out what that m is and what that c is. Now, there are various ways of doing this, but one of the things that I can notice pretty immediately is I can see, can you see here, right, this red dot is where it crosses the y-axis, and so immediately I know that it crosses the y-axis where the y value is 4, so immediately I know that this c here is 4, and I'm on my way to getting the equation. I just need to still work out what the value for m is, so I'm still looking for that. But I have been given one other point, this point here, which is the point 1, 6. What does this tell us? This tells us when I have an x value of 1, my y value is 6. So, if I go to this equation and put in an x value of 1, I know that my y value must be 6. So I can say as follows. When I put in, now I don't know what m is, but when I put in an x value of 1, and I know that that c is 4, my y value will turn out to be 6. Now, I can very easily work out what the value of m is because I've got a nice little equation here to work with. M times 1 will just be m, so it's 6 is equal to m plus 4. So I can get out of that m will be equal to 6 minus 4. In other words, m is equal to 2. And now I've got my equation of the straight line because it is going to be y is equal to 2x plus 4. So in this example, what I was doing was I immediately could write down what c was, and then I plugged the other point into the equation to work out m. And once I have m, I have my equation. Now imagine I'm given a straight line like this and I'm asked to get the equation. Well, I can start in exactly the same place and say, look, I know the equation is going to be something of this form, y is equal to mx plus c, where I know that m is the gradient and c is the place where it crosses the y-axis. Now, if I have a look at this graph here, unfortunately, this is not as easy as the last one because I can't just immediately pop in what c is because they haven't shown me, all right? So actually at this one, I'm going to go ahead and work out the gradient. Now you've had plenty of practice in that. You know how to work out the gradient of this straight line. The gradient of this straight line, or any straight line, is just the y difference over the x difference, all right? So your gradient, remember, is always just the change in y values over the change in x values. So here we could say, let's go change in y values, it will be 4 minus 2. So if we went that point, when we're doing the change in y values, we must go 1 minus 2. So we'll go 1 minus 2. And 4 minus 2 is 2, and 1 minus 2 is minus 1. So our m is minus 2. So we can say here we've already got that m is minus 2, but we haven't finished because to find the equation we need to find the c. But we can do exactly what we did the previous time now. We can take either one of these points, doesn't matter which one we choose, and we put the x value in and we put the y value in and we work out the c. So let's use this one when we say, okay, when the x is 1, we know that the y value is 4. So let's go and substitute that into this equation. We know that the y value is 4. We know m is 2. The x value is 1, and we don't know what c is. So what we've just done is gone to this equation. We've put x is 1, and we've put y is 4. Now we can work out what c is. We get 4 minus 2 plus c. 4 is equal to minus 2 plus c. And so what's c going to be equal to? It's going to be equal to 4 plus 2. In other words, c is 6. So we can just scratch out c and give us a 6. And just write it neatly. It's minus 2x plus 6 is the equation of this straight line. Okay, I want you to try one now. This is in your key concepts books. So just pause the video and find the equation of this straight line, and we'll go over it together. Pause the video now. All right. Hopefully you started off, I hope, by just saying, I know straight line, any straight line, it's mx plus c. And then I went and I had a look here, and I see, look, I've been told that it crosses there at minus 2. So in fact, this one I've been very nicely told that my c is minus 2. So I've got as far as y is equal to mx minus 2. Now I can go and take this point, and it tells me when x is 1, y is 1. So I can substitute that in here. 1 is equal to m times 1 minus 2. So 1 is equal to m minus 2. So m is equal to 1 plus 2. Right, which is 3. And so now I have my equation of the straight line, 3x minus 2. Hope you got that one. Sometimes they can also give it to us in table form. They can say, I've drawn up this table, and this table will lead to a straight line graph. What's the equation of that straight line graph? Now, the first thing I just want to point out to you is a thing that we'll always see when we've got tables for straight line graphs. Can you see the x values here go up in jumps of 2? Now, I mean, that's just something that whoever drew up the table has chosen. They chose what x values. But what you're going to see always is if the person chooses their x values so that they go up in regular jumps, their y values will go up in regular jumps too if the graph is a straight line graph. So here you can see it's going up in jumps of 4. And this is what clues you into actually you're going to end up with a straight line graph from plotting these points. Okay, but that's just an aside. Let's figure out how we would get the equation of the straight line graph. Well, we're going to do it in exactly the same way. We've been doing it all along. We're going to say we know the equation of a straight line graph is y is equal to mx plus c, and we're going to look for the m and the c. So we're going to look first for the c, because that's a really easy one. Now the c is where the graph crosses the y-axis. So it is where your x value is 0. And unfortunately, they haven't given us this in this table what happens when the x value is 0. So the nice easy option of finding the c isn't going to work for us this time. So alas, we have to go for the m. But it's not too bad, right? We know that m is always just the y difference over the x difference. So we just need to choose any 2 points. And because I don't feel like dealing with negative numbers, I am going to choose that to one point to be my a and that to be my b. But if you like negative numbers, you could have chosen a and b, or you could have chosen a and b, right? Any 2 points you can work with to get you the gradient. Okay. So here yb is 17 and y of a is 13, and the x value of b is 3 and the y value of a is 1. So I'm going to get 4 over 2, which is 2. So now I know that my gradient here is 2. My m value is 2. Now I just need to get what the c is in order to get my equation of the graph. And again, I can choose any single one of these points that I want to substitute in here in order to work out what my c is. So let me choose to use this one to substitute in. So what this one says is when I have a y value of 17 my x value, sorry, I need to use x here, so let me just do that again. When I have a y value of 17, I know my gradient is 2, my x value is 3, and I don't know what c is, right? So what I've done is I've just gone to this equation and I've put x is 3 and y is 17, and now I can work out what c is. 17 is going to be equal to 6 plus c, and so c will just be 17 minus 6, which is 11. And so now I've got my equation. Y is equal to 2x plus 11.